This is Tommy Chiringo here from San Angelo, Texas. Thanks to the San Angelo Hispanic Heritage Museum for inviting me to be part of the celebrating Dia de los Muertos here with y'all. I'm gonna do a couple of jams here, a couple of songs for y'all guys. I hope y'all enjoy it. And it goes something like this.
Ese coco que quiere Lupe, en la palma lo arranco yo. Ese coco que quiere Lupe, en la palma lo arranco yo. Que sí, pero quiero. Ese coco rayado lo quiero yo. Que sí, pero quiero. Ese coco rayado lo quiero yo. El conejo es buen tamborero, camarada de corazón. El conejo es buen tamborero, camarada de corazón. Que sí, pero que no. Ese coco rayado lo quiero yo. Que sí, pero que no. Ese coco rayado lo quiero yo. ¡Hey! El coco rayado, sí. Ayer tarde pasé en tu casa y dijeron que estaba mal. Ayer tarde pasé en tu casa y dijeron que estaba mal. Que sí, pero que no. Ese coco rayado lo quiero yo. Que sí, pero que no. Ese coco rayado lo quiero yo. El conejo es buen tamborero, camarada de corazón. El conejo es buen tamborero, camarada de corazón. Que sí, pero que no. Ese coco rayado lo quiero yo. Que sí, pero que no. Ese coco rayado lo quiero yo. El coco rayado, y sí lo quiero. Ese coco que quiere Lupe, en la palma lo arranco yo. Ese coco que quiere Lupe, en la palma lo arranco yo. Que sí, pero que no. Ese coco rayado no quiero yo. Que sí, pero que no. Ese coco rayado lo quiero yo.
Well, there he is, the very talented Tommy Tarango, getting us started for day number 2 of the Dia de los Muertos celebration, presented by the San Angelo Hispanic Heritage Museum and Cultural Center. For Motion Verse Media, I'm Manny Diaz. Well, day 1 was just, I tell you, a full spectrum of content celebrating this wonderful Hispanic holiday that honors life, if you will. Today, we will continue that theme. We'll hear from a number of influential people from around our community, especially the Bishop of the San Angelo Catholic Diocese, Bishop Michael Sis, as he gives us the spiritual connection to this celebration. Plus, you do not want to miss this. We'll check in with the very talented Alejandro Castañon, a very talented artist here in San Angelo, who takes us from beginning to end of just a beautiful masterpiece representing one of the most recognizable figures of the Hispanic culture. But first things first, as we get started tonight, a look at how you can create a piece of Dia de los Muertos to honor the passing of your loved ones right in your own home. All right, well, welcome back. Joining us now for our celebration of Dia de los Muertos is the City of San Angelo City Manager, Daniel Valenzuela. Daniel, it's a pleasure having you on our show, talking about this special celebration.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, this celebration, with Dia de los Muertos, always has such a special place in everyone's heart. Certainly, the Hispanic culture. From your perspective, from your family, where does that fit in with all that?
I think that Dia de los Muertos for us was my mom. It was always something that was really special for her. Her mom passed away when she was really young. And it was always really important for her to kind of acknowledge the fact that she had a mama that was such a big part of her life. And I do remember my mom, of course, we'd go out to the cemetery, flowers all over the place. She made it a special day. And unfortunately, not too many Mexican Americans right now are doing that. Right. But my mom did that. I think that for me, and my mom actually passed on when she was only 40 years old. So for me, it's still an opportunity. I still feel this direct connection to her, but especially because she honored these type of days, the days that All Saints Day and All Souls Day were so important to her. They're very important to me as well. So it's an opportunity for me not just to kind of reunite with her, but other loved ones who have passed on as well. It's not a day of mourning. It's actually a day of celebration, of joy, and I think that's something that we need to realize is that for kids, sometimes kids are so scared of death, and I think that what we attempt to do through this tradition of ours is to say, hey, it's okay. This is just the process of life. It's something that someday we'll be fortunate enough to move on and be with those loved ones all over again. But again, this is just that opportunity to kind of recognize the fact that we have those loved ones there.
That's a great way to put that. Not necessarily be afraid of death. Absolutely. Now from you're the city manager here in San Angelo. And I feel like San Angelo is not only grown over you can make an argument for every 5 years, 10 years, what have you, but grown in certainly population, but in also in terms of its culture. How important is it, or what's it been like seeing the diverse cultures and certainly celebrations like this, progress here in the city?
And you said it, diverse cultures. It is so important to recognize that we do have a very diverse community. And it's really important to honor and respect the traditions of different cultures. And that's something that I think that in this country, you've seen kind of a step back from that. And I think that it's so important to recognize the differences that we all have and embrace those differences. We're called to love each other, and that's something that I really would love to see more of. And you see a lot of that here in our community. This is what I love about San Angelo so much. A lot of what's going on in the country, in the world right now, the negativity, you look at San Angelo now and you see a lot more of that embracing the different cultures. And that's something that's really important for us. An event like this, I think if anything, it just helps us to introduce a different culture to a different group of individuals in our community. And it's just an opportunity for them to learn more about why these traditions are so important to us and why we honor our dead, our loved ones, the way that we do. We do understand, as far as I'm concerned, I still have a special connection to my mom, my stepdad. I still pray and ask them to pray for me. They're still part of the body of Christ. Absolutely. And so for me, that's important to understand, and for people to understand that these are our beliefs, and this is what really ties us so closely to our family members. Just because we pass on, we don't fail to be, we're no longer the body of Christ, we are the body of Christ. As a matter of fact, I think as we pass on, we're more alive than we are right now here on earth. So again, tradition is so important, diversity is so important, and this is why events like this are so important to our community.
Well, speaking of the body of Christ, our bishop, we had a great chat with him recently, and it's always nice to, because this event, this celebration involves, I think, Catholicism a lot with that, and of course it's always nice to visit with him, and that's kind of what our next segue is, of course.
Well, Bishop Sis, I love Bishop Sis. He's a wonderful individual. He's got some great information about what Dia de los Muertos means to us, and also to the Catholic Church. So there's a really nice clip about him. So I'd like to introduce Bishop Sis, the Bishop of the Diocese of San Angelo.
My name is Bishop Michael Sis. I'm the Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of San Angelo in West Texas. In the practices of El Día de los Muertos, before the Spanish Catholics came to Mexico, the practices were carried out throughout August and September, various times of the year, often at harvest time. And for many weeks they would practice their customs. But when the Spanish Catholics came to Latin America, they saw this as an opportunity for evangelization, to spread the Christian faith, and to connect it with the experience of the people who were living there. And so they transformed this and connected it with two principal dates on the Christian calendar. That is November 1st and November 2nd. November 1st, we have for centuries observed in the Catholic Church what's called All Saints' Day. And on November 2nd, we observe, and have observed for centuries, what's called All Souls' Day. Now, let me tell you about a really interesting movie that a lot of people connect with El Día de los Muertos. That movie is called Coco. Now, Coco is an animated film that was created in the United States, but it was also marketed heavily in Mexico. And in that movie, there's an interesting sort of premise. And the basic premise is this, that the souls of the deceased need to be remembered by their family and friends. And if we don't remember them, then their souls cease to exist. Now, we as Catholic Christians completely disagree with that premise. But in our faith, we do not make any claim that if you stop remembering somebody, their soul ceases to exist. So that part of that movie, Coco, is quite different from our Catholic beliefs. Here in San Angelo, every year on the 2nd of November, All Souls Day, I go to the cemetery, Calvary Cemetery, and offer Mass to pray for those who have passed away. And we also bless the graves. So that is very much connected with the traditions of the Day of the Dead, El Día de los Muertos, throughout Mexico and other countries, where you go to cemeteries, you clean up the graves, maybe you place some flowers there. We celebrate a Mass in the cemetery and we bless the graves. And in doing that, we're entrusting their souls to the mercy of God. Anybody is welcome to come. This year, we'll be blessing the graves at 3:30 p.m., and then we'll celebrate the Mass outdoors at the cemetery at 5 p.m. That's at Calvary Cemetery on Avenue N in the central part of San Angelo. Everybody's welcome.
All right, as we continue our celebration of Día de los Muertos presented by the San Angelo Hispanic Heritage Museum and Cultural Center, we'll go back to the very talented Tommy Tarango.
All right, guys, this next song is a song called Neon Moon, one of my favorite songs. It's a little country song there for y'all, so hopefully y'all enjoy it. Here it goes. It goes something like this.
The sun goes down on my side of town. The sun filling comes to my door. The world turns blue. Run down bar across the railroad tracks. I got a table for two way in the back where I sit alone. Thank goodness you. I spend most every night beneath the light of a neon moon. If you lose your one and only, there's always room here for the lonely to watch your broken dreams dancing out of the beams of a neon moon. I think of two young lovers running wild and free. I close my eyes, sometimes see you in the shadows. This won't feel right. Oh, telling how many tears I sit here and cry, or how many lies that I've lied, telling my poor heart she'll come back someday. Oh, but I'll be alright as long as there's light of a neon moon. Oh, if you lose your one and only, there's always room here for the long way to watch your broken dreams dancing out of the beams of the neon moon. Jukebox plays on, drink by drink, and the words of every sad song say what I think is hurt inside of me. Ain't never gonna end. Oh, but I'll be alright as long as there's light of a neon moon. Oh, if you lose your one and only, there's always room here for the lonely to watch your broken dreams dancing out of the beams of a neon moon. To watch your broken dreams dancing out of the beams of a neon moon. Whoa, watch your broken dreams dancing out of the beams of a neon moon.
All right, good stuff from Tommy Tarango. Of course, but joining us now is Mr. Orlando Reyna, owner, operator of probably some of the best tacos in San Angelo. Heck, we'll just throw it out there. Some of the best tacos in West Texas, Reyna's Tacos. Orlando, it's a pleasure having you, sharing the platform with you,
it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I'm already getting hungry just looking at your hat, and I'm just remembering the taste of those tacos.
As soon as we get out of here, we can head that way, go get you some lunch, man.
Yeah, if you haven't checked them out, the pizza box full of tacos, amazing. I can't even do it justice just explaining, but nonetheless, we're talking this Dia de los Muertos celebration. We were talking about it before we came on camera, that this is, you know, as we celebrate this with the Hispanic San Angelo Hispanic Museum here, this is something that means something to you with the celebration itself. Something that's maybe kind of evolved over the years.
Yeah, you know, as I was younger, you know, I knew about the celebration. Of course, you know, in Mexico, I still have family members over there, and it's celebrated over there. It's a huge thing. But like I said, when you're younger, you just don't really get into that, you know what I'm saying? But now as I've gotten older, you know, and I've had my own experiences losing, you know, loved ones, you know, my mother, my brother, and my sister, it just means so much more to me. And I wanted to, you know, my wife and I, you know, she's had loved ones that she's lost, and we just want to bring that to the community, you know, remembering the people that we love and that have passed on.
And that's probably one of the best explanations of that, because, you know, when we're younger, we probably don't understand that a whole lot, and it's probably just like, it's, you know, your mom and dad just drag you off to something.
Exactly.
But now, you know, it carries some meaning. So
yeah,
that's,
it really does.
That's probably the best explanation. Absolutely. you know, you know, it's always nice to see Latinos and, you know, fellow Hispanics certainly thrive, you know, and now I think we're seeing it more than ever.
Yeah.
Certainly business people throughout our media and throughout and everything. How nice is it set now, certainly with this museum and cultural center, how nice is it to see, you know, more Latinos being empowered with all
Oh man,
this?
it's great. I mean, you know, like, and the thing about San Angelo and a lot of, you know, us small business owners, man, you know, we keep in contact. You know, we're all really close and try to help each other out as much as we can with whatever it may be. You know, any the simplest question, I know that I can call so and so, you know, and just ask them anything, you know, and they support you. You know, San Angelo has come together a lot, I think, you know, and in supporting local small businesses. Yeah.
Now, of course, the Cowboys are terrible right now, and that's what everybody's used to seeing on Sundays.
You told me you weren't going to mention that.
Well, you know, if we're not watching the Cowboys, we might as well go out to the Reina's Tacos Dia de los Muertos celebration, which you guys, I've seen it all over social media. Tell us a little bit about that and what's going to be a part of the event.
Okay, well, this is going to be on Sunday, which is November 1st. And that's going to be, Dia de los Muertos is November 1st and November 2nd. Mm-hmm. November 1st is normally for the passing of, you know, children. That's de los niños, you know, and then on 2nd is for the adults. So we're doing it Sunday, November 1st. It's going to be from 5 to 10 p.m. They're at Reina's Tacos at 226 South 8th Street. And we're going to, of course, be selling our tacos, you know, have vendors, craft vendors there. And a band, Evolucion, is going to be there. And also DJ Thomas is going to be there also. So, I mean, just different activities. We also have local artists that are going to be there doing live paintings and showing you like a little art gallery in our back patio. So it's going to be, you know, fun, you know, for the family, of course. You know, it's definitely for all the family. And last year what we did, we also did a walk to the park, you know, to the river and did a balloon release. And that's something also that had a lot of meaning to us last year. And we definitely want to continue with that. So. And another thing, we also have our ofrenda there, which is like an altar. You can bring everybody's welcome. The community is welcome to bring pictures or candles, you know, in remembrance of their loved ones, and come and put them on our altar. It'll be up there. So, yeah, it's pretty much like I said. Sunday, come on out, bring the family. Yeah. Everybody's welcome. It's you know, starts at 5. It's over early at 10 o'clock. So, you know.
Absolutely awesome. Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to making it out there. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys, maybe we'll say a few prayers and pray a rosary for them.
We'll put a candle for them up there also.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to my art studio. My name is Alejandro Castañon. I'm a local artist here in San Angelo, Texas. And today what I'm going to be doing is painting a Dia de los Muertos painting of Frida. If you guys don't know who Frida is, very famous Mexican painter. And we're going to be doing a little take on her portrait with a lot of vibrant colors. And I'm going to walk you guys through this whole process, and hopefully you guys are going to have a good time watching. Okay, I got my little nifty hands-free tripod for my reference photo that I have on my phone. Saves my back like you would not believe. Standing like this, looking at the reference photo for like 2 or 3 hours straight will just kill your shoulder blade. So I recommend getting one of these. You can get them at Walmart for like $4. It's really great. So you can see that the background is already good to go. I like doing the background first because it gives me the first step is already done. So it kind of boosts my self-esteem a little bit. I know that sounds crazy to talk about after I've been painting for 8 years, but my self-esteem is incredibly, incredibly important during the creative process. So for right now, what I'm going to do is just go ahead and lay down just a basic tone that I want to use for her face. She's going to have some makeup on for her little design that we're going to do on her face. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in now. And this doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not paying attention to too many details here. Again, this is just to kind of get the ball rolling. One of the reasons why I do my background first is because I like to use a lot of negative space in my paintings, meaning there's a lot of abstract lines and shapes around here, and I get to play with those and decide what stays and what goes. And if I like some of the colors that are already on here, then I will go ahead and leave them there or work them into the painting somehow. So it's kind of sort of my style and technique. I'm going to kind of jump through to another part of this painting. It's important that you guys jump around on a painting. It's not good that you focus on just one area for too long. That can get very frustrating. So try to move around, and if you can, focus on areas that are easy. The hair, for example, is easy because it helps frame in the face. And typically, depending on the hairstyle, it can be pretty straightforward. For right now, I'm not trying to finish the hair. I'm just trying to get it to a point where I've made some significant progress. And then as it's drying, I can go ahead and move on to another area and then come back to this. I highly recommend you guys try speed painting. It's challenging, but it's fun. You know, just put a time limit on a painting that you want to do, and then just jump into that and see what you can get in a short amount of time. And what it does is it teaches you how to be more confident in your decisions and your creative decisions. And it requires your brain to have to kind of stop thinking and just go with your instincts and your gut. It doesn't always turn out perfect, but it's not really about that. It's just about learning how to listen to your intuition rather than the analytical part of your brain. Like I mentioned before, it's important that you move around the canvas a lot, as much as possible, because that is the key to keeping yourself happy and in the flow of things. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually fill in some of this background, and you're going to see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about negative space.
What does Frida give to you, or what vibe does she give to you?
You know, it's really about my cultural heritage. Whenever I paint Frida, you know, she should be the patron saint of art, in my opinion. But I already look at her that way. So for me, it's more of a connection to my culture because I didn't grow up around other Hispanics. I grew up in Germany. And I didn't meet another Mexican until I came to the States when I was 18. So for me, whenever I paint depictions of Hispanics, especially Mexicans, I just have this feeling of just connecting with my culture, whether it's Frida or other cultural icons from Mexico like Cantinflas and musicians. I always just kind of think about how I'm connecting with them and exploring that part of my heritage that I didn't get to explore when I was, growing up overseas.
What went into choosing this color for your hands?
It didn't.
Is there any inspiration?
There's no inspiration. It's just, okay, I think blue would be good. It's more of a feeling. It's nothing that you can explain typically through logic. I mean, I guess you could say it was because it's a complementary color to orange, but that's not really the reason why I chose it. I just thought it was interesting. And it doesn't always turn out that way. Sometimes I do it and I'm like, ugh. But sometimes I do it and I'm like, okay, I like the way that feels.
When you look at her, what do you see when you look at Frida?
I see a very, very creative individual. A lot of spirit, that's for sure. When you see a lot of her paintings, you see her, well, she was the subject of a lot of her artwork. So when I do her portrait, you tend to get the feel for what kind of person she was because of the level of creativity that she was at, and the kind of artwork that she created was very non-traditional. So you get this feeling like, man, she really was a creative individual. So I get that whenever I do her portraits. You know, you get this like feeling of this creative energy from this person. Now there's the issue of the designs on her face. We have to put that stuff in for sure, but that doesn't take very long. It's pretty easy. I actually think that you can even take a picture like this and paint somebody else as Frida. If they have the same sort of aura, if you want to call it that. One person I thought of painting in this same clothes, same feel as Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I thought that'd be a very interesting way of painting her. The same goes for doing flowers. It's better if you block them in instead of trying to get all the little details. I think the most important thing about doing flowers is just getting the colors and the shapes right. It doesn't have to be perfect, like you see in a reference photo, because a flower is a flower. As long as you get some of those elements right, I think you'll be fine. So it's better if you do some blocking first. Well guys, we finished up this Dia de los Muertos of Frida. Really enjoyed the experience and sharing with you guys my thoughts and my process and how I go about creating a painting. Hope you guys got a lot out of it, and thank you so much for watching, and thank you for participating with this wonderful event that the Hispanic Heritage Committee is putting together. Thank y'all.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Dia de los Muertos celebration presented by the San Angelo Hispanic Museum and Cultural Center. Joining us now is Mr. Jim Sanchez of Flaco Guapo Media. That's just like the name of the Hispanic Heritage Museum and Cultural Center. That's a mouthful there. But first and foremost, thank you for joining us. But tell us a little about that name of your brand there.
Right. I'm the founder of Flaco Guapo Media. When I was working for the Hispanic bilingual newspaper, Conexión, Ruben Cantu is my editor that was training me. He introduced me to a young lady that came into the office. He said, by the way, this is our resident Flaco Guapo. And she turned to me and she put out her hand. She said, nice to meet you, Flaco Guapo. And I said, young lady, I did take sarcasm in that tone of voice, but you know what? I'll take it. And so when she said that, I started thinking later on, when I get in the business, I want to use that.
And you ran with that, certainly.
Yeah. And then women either laugh at it or they laugh with me, or some say, yeah, I kind of get the resemblance.
I gotcha. Yeah, that's very good. Well, Jim, we're talking Dia de los Muertos and the celebration that is this holiday. Now, you've seen it from a lot of different perspectives, certainly behind the lens, because you capture a lot of photos and pretty much just you chronicle a lot of what San Angelo and West Texas does. Explain what you see from behind the lens there and you know, the significance of the celebration.
Well, I hadn't been really too familiar with it, to be honest, Manny, but in kind of going over it a little bit, I like the 6 objects that are brought into the equation with Dia de los Muertos, such as, I'll just mention 3, like the skull, which is like the sugar candy. When I take pictures as a photographer, I love the costumes and I love the skulls, so I like the pageantry. So I look at it from that, as a photographer, from the lens perspective of that tradition. It's rich, it's the pageantry, the culture. And then the other thing I like is the salt. As far as, I didn't know this, but the salt represents a symbolic of, it purifies the soul. And getting back to the skulls with sugar, it represents sweetness of the soul, sweetness of life. And then, of course, I like the photographs, and I'll interject here on the photographs. Dia de los Muertos, that we honor, and rightfully so, I like that aspect. And I honor my mom every year with this. I took this picture of her on Mother's Day, 2018. So I carry this way as a remembrance, and I honor her every day. So to me, I like that aspect of honoring the dead, honoring our loved ones, not just on a yearly basis, but to me every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dia de los Muertos, I mean, obviously, we honor the past, every day. But the Dia de los Muertos, it's to kind of just uplift it just a little bit more, to accent it. With the Hispanic Heritage Museum, it's great, and certainly what they're doing with this celebration here with Dia de los Muertos. How important as a Latino yourself to see other Latinos empowering others, and to maybe introduce things to other folks that they may have not known of the Hispanic culture.
Right. It's very important to honor the legacy of our Hispanic culture, especially we stand on the shoulders of greatness. My grandfather was from Mexico, Elijah, and then he didn't get an education. My mom and dad didn't get an education. They gave me an affordability to get to college, and I'm first generation of going to ASU and being a graduate, and I'm proud of attending ASU, class of 2006. So having said that, it's important that we move forward and pay it forward to up and coming generation, leave behind a legacy to an up and coming generation where they can see you as a positive role model, saying, Manny, look what he's done, or what I've done, that we're trying to do something to leave behind a legacy and help others. Like you and I being in the media as Hispanics, I give away, my legacy is I want to give away and invest in ASU students and other Hispanics that I see something greatness in them. I said, you know what, you're destined for greatness. I want to be a part of that in your life, and I want it to be great for the Hispanics. And also our culture,
Absolutely.
Our legacy, to leave something.
That's a great thing to do, and certainly to empower others for it as well. So, Jim, well, it's been a pleasure. Mr. Flaco Guapo himself, Flaco Guapo Media. In fact, you can catch a lot of his photos. You do have a Facebook page. For folks that maybe want to get in touch with you, what's the best route to do that?
Well, on Facebook in the search box, you can look Flaco Guapo Media, and also my website is www.flacoguapo.com, or you can also reach out to me at flacoguapo87@gmail.com, and my number is 325-300-1989, and I'm just excited about what I'm doing because I want to make a contribution to our culture, Hispanic culture, and also to our community, San Angelo, which I love.
Absolutely. Well, Jim Sanchez of Flaco Guapo Media. We do have, we talked a little bit about the sugar skulls with that. In fact, we do have a tutorial of how you can make one of these sugar skulls and essentially make your own kit and then create your own sugar skulls. Well, it's been another night to remember as we honor life in the first Dia de los Muertos celebration presented by the San Angelo Hispanic Heritage Museum and Cultural Center. A big thanks to all those who came on the program tonight, especially Bishop Michael Sis of the San Angelo Catholic Diocese, and of course the very talented artist Alejandro Castañón. But before we say goodbye tonight, we'll leave you with one last performance from the man that is the Tejano star, Tommy Tarango. From Oceanverse Media, I'm Manny Diaz.
Seguro que sí. Muchas gracias a todos ahí que están viendo las canciones aquí que estoy tocando para ustedes. Vamos a hacer un poco de Vicente Fernández, para los que les gusta la música de Vicente. Ahí a todos, a la gente bonita que se encuentra con nosotros. Seguro que sí. Y dice... Mira, mis amigos, les conté y el amor de una pena de tequila que por probarles de tus besos me olvidé y me bastaron unos tragos de tequila. Les platiqué que me encontré con otro amor y que sus brazos fui dejando de quererte, que te aborrezco desde el día de tu traición. Hay momentos que he deseado hasta tu muerte. Acá entre nos, quiero que sepas la verdad. No te he dejado de adorar. Ay, a mi triste soledad me ha dado ganas de gritar. Salí corriendo y preguntar qué es lo que ha sido de tu vida. Acá entre nos, siempre te voy a recordar. Hoy que a mi lado ya no estás, no queda más que confesar que ya no puedo soportar, que estoy odiando sin odiar, porque respiro por la herida. Ay, 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 chiquitita, cómo te extraño. Entre nos, quiero que sepas la verdad. No te he dejado de adorar. Ay, a mi triste soledad me ha dado ganas de gritar. Salí corriendo y preguntar qué es lo que ha sido de tu vida. Entre nos, siempre te voy a recordar. No queda más que confesar que ya no puedo soportar, que estoy odiando sin odiar, porque respiro por la herida.